Okay. Hi, everybody. We're back.
Hello, we're back.
We are. And it is a whole new year, 2026.
Yeah,
A lot of the same, working hard to get performers contracts all over the world. But it seems like it's a good idea to start with resolutions because I love resolutions. It's January, and it seems like we have, between the two of us and probably the rest of the team, some ideas about where we want to go this year and what we want to focus on. And it seems like that dovetails nicely into making some intentions at the beginning of the year. And since we're making them in public, maybe everybody will hold us more accountable, or we'll hold ourselves more accountable to it. So just so everybody gets an idea of what we're trying to do here, Jess, you want to start with your first resolution of 2026 as it pertains to Lime Entertainment?
sure, totally. So I think one of my resolutions for this year is to really look for encourage performers to capitalize on their social media accounts. It's so interesting that more and more supervisors, both on production cast side of things, on music side of things, they're looking at Instagrams. They are checking out your Instagram. They want to see that you are working on your craft, that you are out there performing, that you are not staying stagnant. And social media is just one way to do it. We've heard performers tell us supervisors asked for Instagram handles in an audition. And so it's becoming more and more important. We need to talk about it more. And I would love to find people who really feel like taking that a bit more seriously this year too, because it helps us do our jobs for them. So I think that's my first one. What's one of yours?
No, I mean, I think just to add on to yours, right? Like
Sure.
for some people, I think that keeping up with social media and posting about what you do, it feels natural and easy. And I think for other people, it feels awkward or
Very.
kind of like revealing something that feels more private to them that becomes public, and also figuring out what you post and how you portray yourself. It I think can be intimidating for a lot of folks. I think for people who already have a knack for it, that's great. But it is just, I feel like it just comes with the territory now.
Yeah.
And it would be really a huge bummer for me if I was starting out my career, because I find it very challenging. But
Yeah.
but I think even if you're not sure about what to do, there's many resources, including
Yeah.
Lime, to
course.
help folks with this. And it really goes a long way. More and more supervisors are asking for, like you said, social media handles. Let's see what you look like, because in many ways that matters.
Yeah, I totally agree that there's something we can help out with too. I mean, the supervisors are telling us in our meetings, in our calls, what they want to see. And so we're happy to guide you and help you out with that too, because like you said, it can be challenging for some people. So That's my first.
Absolutely. So my first one, and since I'm running our headliner department, a lot of these will be focused on the kind of casting that we're looking to do there. But one in particular is acts for us, for headliners, that are interdisciplinary, right? So there's a lot of vocalists out there, and there's a lot of instrumentalists out there that have their own shows. And while I'm still very, very happy to look at very specialized talent, would love to find more folks that do different things. So if you are a vocalist, but you also play an instrument or even two instruments, somebody who sings, but also plays the piano and the violin, somebody who plays the trumpet and the flute, well, sax and flute probably goes together a little bit better, but a juggler who does either balancing or some magic or some other kind of physical acts, magicians that also sing, right? They are definitely harder to find, but for folks who are putting together their own shows, to be able to incorporate different skills is huge, and I think it really sets you apart. And that is something that we are going to spend a lot of time trying to source and cast this year.
Yeah, of course. It's immediate wow factor. I mean, doing one thing great is great, but doing two things great?
Yeah.
Or three?
Amazing. Yeah, no, truly. Like, because, I mean, so much of a show has to do with banter and shtick and
Of course.
what you do in between numbers, right? And so if you're a juggler, people are entertained for about 3 minutes when you juggle balls or clubs. And then you need to rely on other concepts to make the show great. But if you don't need to just come up with great jokes, and you can be like, now I'm going to do backflips on my rollerblades, then I think all of a sudden people are like, whoa, I've never seen a show quite like that. So I think it even pertains in some ways to performers that aren't even just headliners, because if you are a multi-instrumentalist, or if you are a guitarist, but you're working on your singing, that could become something that all of a sudden you're a double threat. You can do more. If you are a guitarist and you play a little piano, how about working a little bit more on that piano as a resolution for yourself this year? Because maybe you have a future as a piano bar entertainer, or you can do piano bar, or you can do guitar, or you find a gig on some of these lines where they specifically want multi-instrumentalists, drummers who play piano as well, who can sing. And so this is not to say that you shouldn't refine your one skill that you're being hired for, because there are plenty of positions in the world where it's like just stay in your lane. But I think for other folks and for a lot of people out there, it would be really beneficial to work on kind of parallel skills.
Well, I'm taking that for my second one because, as you said, same in the same vein.
I thought you were going to say you're taking it for yourself, and I was like, "That's you."
Oh,
great,
that too.
But
that's a personal.
No, right?
But
We're not.
No one
not
cares
right.
about that.
That's for later. We'll talk about that next time.
Next time, come back for next season. Multi-instrumentalist, not only as a headliner, but for musician positions on board. There are more and more positions opening up where it is beneficial if you play multiple instruments. If you play piano, but you play a little bass, or you play drums, but you can play a little guitar, or you can sing a little bit. They are good paying gigs. We're seeing more and more of them. So I will take that as my second resolution for this year as well.
Yeah, multi-instrumentalist. It's huge.
Or even some production vocalist positions, I'd say. Too, if you play an instrument, that could be handy in some unique positions we're seeing on newer ships, I would say. So, just try new things, do more things.
Try new things.
Do them well.
And if you're a musician, start singing. I feel like
start singing.
Preach all day, all night, but just assuming you're not tone deaf. A vocalist that can also play, or an instrumentalist who can sing, is just a huge, huge asset. Whether you're playing in a party band, a wedding band, whether you're on board a ship, they want someone to sing a few tunes during a jazz set. I mean, it's an incredible asset. And I wish that somebody had told me years ago, hey, start working on your singing, instead of figuring out for myself in recent years when I was a gazillion years old, instead of when I was coming out of school and someone was like, hey man, this is really important. This will really change your career.
But it's never too late. Look at Sam.
It's never too late. Today, you could be today years old when you make this resolution, and in 2026, you start working on it. So, everyone, listen to us. We have good advice. At least
sometimes.
We think we do. Yeah, sometimes. So, I know. Next, I'm going to bring up the idea of local acts, right? So, what we do, in large part, is find people from all over the world. It doesn't matter where they are. And we say, okay, you want to work on a ship? And they give us the right things. And then we send them halfway around the world to a ship. Or we send them not that far, but from somewhere in the Midwest down to the Caribbean. And they hop on board and they do a 6-month contract. But more and more, we are looking for local acts. And that is either relevant for riverboat cruises, particularly in the US, but also in Europe, where ships have certain itineraries and they want performers who are local to be able to hop on board, play a show that night, hop back off, go back home. And it's very different from the long cruise ship contracts that we hire for, but it's an awesome gig too. And it really suits people who are like, I can't make a 6-month commitment, I can't make a 2-month commitment, but I'm happy to commit for these 36 dates over the course of a season where the ship is passing through anywhere from Cape Cod to the Mississippi Delta to the Columbia River out in Portland and so on, or the Danube over in Europe. There's lots and lots of different options, and also we have tons of ships in the Mediterranean that are looking for local acts in Italy, in Greece, in Turkey, in France, in Spain, and so on. And so the more that we can find really great acts, especially if you have some sort of authenticity where, if you're a group that's in coastal Maine, there's some like Maine crunchiness there, right? And if you are, an Italian act, like whether you're in Sicily or whether you're, in northern Italy, that you can bring something local and cultural, we are looking for those acts more and more too. So if you feel like that suits you, or that works for you, or that cruise ships come to a port near you, then we would love to hear from you.
Cruise ships in a port near you. Get on board.
Well, we'll work on that billboard.
Yeah, cut that out.
Yeah.
Cool. I think next, one of my other resolutions, swinging more to production cast, is male tenors. Male tenor vocalists who are up in the stratosphere. I want you to be flying. I want you to be up there with great tone. I also, if you can move a little bit, that would be great. And baritones, barittenors, I love you. There's a place for you. Please be in our family. But as well, I want to really seek out male vocalists who just have that range. It's incredibly impressive, of course, when male presenting vocalists have that range, and of course cruise ships are looking for that more and more in their shows, in their songs, in the writing that's coming to the shows. So being able to do it.
Everybody needs a good tenor or 5 tenors.
A good tenor,
yeah.
Or 7.
They're hard to find, but super important for a lot of production shows on board, and a lot of the just other vocalist gigs that we staff for. And while I feel like it is true that tenors can sometimes have their pick of the litter if they are really good, we're also, Lime's pretty awesome, and so come work for a great company. If you're a great vocalist, let's team up and make make for a great partnership, Got to sell ourselves a little bit too. But yes, I know we'd love to find more tenors who hit those A's like it's nothing. Pop them out. I know. Okay, next I'm moving over to Australasia. I would love to find more Aussie and Kiwi acts, both local acts and true fly-on entertainers with multiple shows, multiple 45-minute shows. Could be groups, individuals, instrumentalists, vocalists, variety, comedy, you name it. But there's quite a lot of ships that are cruising around there, especially this time of year. And the more that we can find, the better. There is definitely work out there for those kinds of acts.
Totally. In that, you know what? Actually, maybe that's tied to what I'm about to say, because it
is. Of course it is.
Everything's connected, and I want country artists.
It's all mycelial. Yeah.
I want country guitar vocalists, soloists. I want country bands. I want country trios. This is probably a resolution that's not too new for 2026, but it is one that I will continue to look for, and that I will always try and strive to find more and more of, or put together, or search for, whatever I need to do to find this country artist. That's one of my resolutions for 2026. Not extremely new or groundbreaking, but important nonetheless.
Definitely important. Just country still hot, and more cruise lines are like, we want country artists or country groups. And there is some good modern country out there. I'm a big country fan myself, at the risk of many musicians all of a sudden, like at the drop of a hat, disrespecting me and my musical tastes. But I could go on and on, maybe in a different podcast episode, about all of the country groups that I think are great. There's also a lot of junk out there, to be fair. But between modern country and knowing that rep, and also knowing the old school, all the folks like Merle and Willie, and also like tangentially, being able to do bluegrass, folk, Americana, like all of that is really important. And artists that can build that into their repertoire, even if you're not like just a country artist, but the more that you can fold that in, there's so many places in the US where they want to hear country. And and for us to find more acts that, even if you're not a true country act, but you're listening to this and you're like, you know what? I think I can pivot. Like, I think I could throw on a cowboy hat. And I think that, I've been trying really hard to get a gig as a guitar soloist or my trio or my duo or something like that. If you can just shift a little bit and learn some country. And if anybody out there is listening to this and they're like, we would like some advice, like, we'll give it. We'll just give us a call. We can give you rep to learn and examples for sure. Yeah.
Pass it back to you, Sam. What's another one?
I'll take it. I have one more that is just really hard to find. But if I could turn over a rock and find 10 variety acts who are, I suppose just like variety acts are so hard to find to begin with. Mm-hmm. But gal variety performers, like, female presenting jugglers and acrobats, sure, but like acrobat pairs even, female ventriloquists, I mean, just like send them all my way. It's just tough to find. There aren't too many of them. There's a very small juggler community to begin with, but within that, to find some gals who, or magicians, mentalists, would love to call that in for 2026 as well.
Love that.
Thank you. Yeah.
Again, not something incredibly
for you
new.
Too. I don't know what your magic skills are like, but we'll hire you too.
Oh, hey, I mean,
Jess.
I could throw around some things, some objects.
Yeah. That's all you really need. Yeah, just throw a bunch in the air and then make a joke when they all come down. Yeah,
My
exactly.
personal 2026 is actually becoming all of these
is
things.
to juggle knives.
I would like to be a male tenor, male presenting tenor, and also
look.
a ventriloquist.
I love that for you. I feel like you have that range already. So.
Oh, thank you. Yes, well.
Yeah.
Great. This is not one of my last ones. One of my few last ones. Also related to some that you might have said earlier, Sam, but I also want to find some international acts. It is becoming more and more common, not only for headliners and one day acts, but for full casts to be based in culture based in the culture of the itinerary that the ship is sailing. So in Caribbean itineraries, like Sam said, Mediterranean itineraries, even Asian itineraries, or even if you get down to, within the US, even in Alaska in the US summer season, honing in performers that really tie in itinerary, location, culture into what they do, not only to appease to the guests or the sailors, of course, but also because shows and products that cruise lines are pushing out are related to different countries, different cultures around the world. So for musicians, dancers, singers, acrobats, I will take all of them. If you really bring in your culture and your country to what you do, talk to us, both of us. But me first.
Yeah. Jess first.
Maybe just me.
No, I mean, it's true. Just that, as much as we would like performers who are versatile, who could be from anywhere and could perform any style, it also, I think, more and more there's a shift back to that, like that specialization. And so I feel like that's just like an extra bonus point, like if you can do all the other stuff, but you can also like show something that's very authentic and specifically cultural, that's huge. And I know that you're promoting that when you look for different acts, but yeah, if anybody's listening to that and they're like, cool, like I can play jazz and rock and pop, but also like very specifically, like flamenco or, there's really just flamenco. It's only flamenco.
Flamenco. That's the only thing we're looking for.
Really, what we're asking for is just flamenco artists here.
Just flamenco.
Yeah. Right. But yeah, anything that's specific to your culture, we want.
But I think it's a good theme as we're going through this that you being, supervising or rather booking headliners, and me overseeing production, cast, and music, we have a lot of common goals and resolutions, it seems, because cruise ship transpire through both of those. And what's great about Lime is that if you apply with us, we can look at every opportunity, whether it's as a musician or a production cast or a headliner, within one agency. So if you apply with us and you're not really sure what direction you want to go, we'll help you. We'll help you find what opportunity on board is best for you, depending on you and your skill set.
Yeah. We're like a switchboard. We'll just pass you around. We'll find out where you're supposed to go. Yeah. We'll find your spot. So the next resolution that I have, we're getting to the end here, but the penultimate one for me is to do more performer and expert interviews on this Limecast. We definitely want to bring in some of our performers to talk about their experiences, and I think that'll be a lot of fun for everybody listening. And also would love to and plan on bringing in some folks who work as supervisors, who did work as supervisors, who currently do, who are the ones who are doing these bookings, who are making these bookings, who are the gatekeepers themselves, because to hear it from them, I think, is just a new perspective and will lend a lot of weight to what we're pushing for and what we're looking to do. So I hope that 2026 is full of interviews that will be fun for folks to listen to. As much as maybe we're fun to listen to, I want to say that people want to hear it from the horse's mouth. You know? Yeah. We're fine and all, but yeah.
There's other people out there, and they're going to talk and say things. And it's going to be
it's going to be better. Yeah.
Listen.
Do you have one more?
I do have one more. I think in the vein of speaking to more people, I want to see more of our performers in person. I want to make the effort wherever I am, or even wherever the Lime team is based, because we have people in the west coast of the U.S., we have people in New York, we have people in Argentina, we have people in Europe. The Lime team, me personally also, connecting in person with performers is some of the most rewarding moments that I've had here at Lime, and it just kind of reminds you of why we do this and makes the hard days better. And it's so lovely to put an email to the in-person face and to know how tall everyone is, because that's very important to me when we meet in person, because you never know.
It's the one most important thing. Not objectively, but just so Jess can understand, can internalize who you are. Yeah. It relieves her stress.
It really does.
Yeah. It makes her happy. Yeah,
it does.
Yeah, we love meeting performers. I would love to do more of it too this year. Yeah. It's been a highlight for the last decade plus, meeting our performers, and excited to do some of that with you too, Jess. We always have a good time. We're hanging out with our people, whether down in Miami or elsewhere around the world, UK. We'll do that next month, I think. I hope. We'll see.
A few weeks.
And my last one is bringing it back to the Lime team. I would like to call in more in-person time with the Lime team. Jess and I are lucky enough to spend some time together, but also making sure that there's other folks. We are all remote, but that we can all find each other in different ways this year, and maybe even at some point during the year all get together and hang out and party, because it's been a long time, and we love a little in-person hang, or a week-long in-person hang. So, yeah. Well, those are just some of our 2026 resolutions. Fingers crossed that we can manifest them. But the first step is speaking them aloud into the void, and from there.
Hold us accountable.
Yes. Yeah. Hold us accountable.
Applying and doing these things.
Yes, exactly. Just apply. Think about what we said and apply. So for the second half of today's episode, we're going to try a series that I think we're going to call it, Jess, Am I the Aft-Hole, right? We thought about Porthole, Aft-Hole.
Porthole.
So this is a Reddit series, or made popular by Reddit, right? But maybe even beyond Reddit, where people talk about their experiences and want to know whether they're the jerk or whether it is somebody else. And so at Jess's suggestion, I think this will be fun to read a couple and then talk about how they're relevant to the cruise industry. So without further ado, I'm going to start with one that is, am I the, well, Aft-Hole for my expectations for pro musicians? So real quick, this person says, I'm a director of music at a large church. I hired a brass quintet for Easter. I booked them over a month ago, spent time scanning music, making sure everything was organized, yada, yada. I also requested they send me 2 pieces of their choosing that they would play during worship. Starting this week, I asked for the titles and composers of the pieces. By Tuesday, I received a response listing generic ideas of things for a quartet book. Around 2 p.m., I call my contact. After getting off the phone, I have a text from my contact saying, we're not students. Everything we play will be prepared well and of high quality. The guy says, I want to be perfectly clear. Never once did I question or doubt their proficiency on their instruments. They are pros, just like I am, and I know that they're capable of excellent playing with one rehearsal. That wasn't my objection. What I did expect from them was to actually put through and put some thought into choosing music and not just wing it on the weekend. I should also point out they're being paid very well, significantly above market value even for pros. For the compensation they're receiving, I stand by my expectations being reasonable. So, Jess, what do you think? Is this person an Aft-Hole?
I mean, of course when we do these or when people post these, we only get their side of the story. We don't know what text message this person sent to the musicians, so we don't have all the pieces of information. But I do not think, I don't think the MD is the Aft-Hole, because he has the best intentions. He's trying to be prepared for the gig on Saturday. Maybe he's asking something of the musicians that make the musicians feel undermined, or, I mean, that's essentially what he's saying, right? Like, we're not students, we're professionals. At the same time, having been MD on board, sometimes you have to ask for things just to know they're going to be prepared. There's pressure as an MD, there's a performance, there's your management on the line rather, and I don't think he was being an Aft-Hole for requesting this. Again, we don't know what he said to them exactly, so maybe he was in those text messages, but I would say that he's not particularly here. But what do you think?
Yeah, I think musicians, we often put off things until the last minute. It is our nature. And that doesn't mean that we still won't do a good job, because a lot of us are talented enough to pull it together, and we go 1 gig at a time, and it's like, look, man, I'll talk to you tomorrow after my gig is done today. And that's true on land, and it's also true on ships. But the bottom line is that if you are hired for something, that you are obligated, I would say, there should be some responsibility or obligation to cater to whoever is running it. And if they ask for something, then that's your responsibility to give that to them, and to not say, look, we can take care of it, we're not babies, or we're not children. And that is kind of an immature response. Anyway, although I understand why that person feels like their musical integrity is being challenged, or their ability to put on a good show or to come prepared. But yeah, I think it's a difficult thing being a musical director. And I would recommend it for everybody, because then you get the perspective of both sides, right? You can be the side person who's dealing with MDs or with band leaders, and you can be the MD who's like, oh, on the other side, it is kind of annoying to get what you want, and you stress out and you worry that people aren't doing what what they said they would do, or if they're going to follow through with what their responsibilities are, if they're going to show up prepared, if they really care about the gig, and it's your name on the line if you are the MD. And so I feel for that guy here. Again, maybe he's not doing it in exactly the right way. Maybe he's a little bit rough around the edges in the way that he's asking for these things. But I think that, if you're on a ship and your MD asks for you to do something, of course, this is assuming that it's within reason. That's still your boss, and we're going to assume that they have the best intentions for the group. Somebody else is putting pressure on them, and so they're passing it down to you, and hopefully a kind and respectful way. But I do think that as a side person, the more that you can do to help your MD out so that they're not taking care of everything and have to worry about you, that's the happier they'll be, the happier the band will be, and you'll really be doing them a service, even if it just feels like it's insignificant, or even if it feels like they're hand-holding or babysitting you. So yeah, would love every side person to be a little bit more considerate about what they're being asked to do, and if every sideman comes and overachieves, then like the band's going to be awesome, and the MD who's already bearing some stress is going to be a little bit more relaxed, and we love that.
Yeah, it's true that it's hard to empathize with the MD if you have not been in the shoes of the MD. And if that's not your thing, I agree with Sam. Everyone should give it a go. Everyone should be calling the songs on a gig. Everyone should be preparing in the ways that MDs have to prepare at some point. But if it's really not your calling, which for many people it is not, just know that they're probably dealing with a bigger picture that you don't see. And so when you're working with people on board for multiple months at a time, just do the most, do what you're asked to do, and you're paid to do a job, and it's part of the job. So.
Yeah, pay good money. Free food.
Free food.
Free accommodation.
You walk to the gig. Come on.
Yeah. Stop whining. Although, sometimes there's probably reasons to,
And just
there's a reason and time and place. Yeah. If you have issues, let us know. Great.
Jess, your MD, sometimes they do ask ridiculous things. We'll tell you if you don't know if it's ridiculous or not.
Yeah. If you want to know if you are the Aft-Hole, please send us your story. We were happy to give a thumbs up.
The next one of these, part 2, is stories from everyone.
Send us yours.
So send us, Am I the Aft-Hole, your own stories. Yes.
Jess, you want to take the next one? Yeah.
So, Am I the Aft-Hole? For ignoring my friend while on a cruise vacation. Maybe, but let's see. My best friend and I recently went on a week-long cruise together, and it caused some problems. We've known each other for about 8 years and worked together for about 3. Naturally, we roomed together with no problem. The problem comes in when she got together with another guy who was on the trip. Once we got on the cruise, however, she brought him to get together almost every night. There were multiple times where they asked me to leave the room or told me not to come back for hours at a time when I just wanted to go to the room and sleep. I asked them to please stop doing that, and they didn't. I walked in on them 2 times that week, and I was very upset with both of them. This was in November. In February, we all went on a 7-day cruise again with my family and some mutual friends, including her and her partner, and she and I roomed together again. We set the rule of no guys in girls' rooms and vice versa for everyone on the trip. Everything was fine until 3 days in. I walked in on them getting together. All I could say was, "Are you guys serious?" And I was told in return, "What, are you gonna snitch?" And I walked away. I left the room and I didn't get back until 4 a.m. I had received messages from her joking about it and asked if I was mad. I didn't respond. The next day I woke up and left the room without saying a word. Anytime I would see her, I just walked away. I knew if I talked to her, I would say something rude. Am I the Aft-Hole? Sam?
You're not the Aft-Hole. You just need to get a new best friend. No,
you might choose a little better.
Yeah, make better choices. Okay, all right. It's very difficult to find a protagonist in this story. Everybody's a little bit despicable. Yeah. But I think as it relates to cruise ships, right? Like, you have a roommate. Almost everybody on board that works as crew will have a roommate. And so much of that is being kind and respectful to them. And like this friend is just being a total jerk. Like that's, especially like this person is complaining that like they just wanted to go back and sleep, and her friend was in there with the dude just being like,
I'm busy.
Come back later. We're
and then
very
texting,
busy.
Are you mad? Haha.
Yeah, don't be a baby. Yeah.
Baby.
Yeah, don't snitch. What is it?
Don't snitch.
Yeah. I mean, even if this friend has been like, searching for her perfect mate for a decade, or like found the love of her life on board, like that's just not the way you treat a friend. And I think like on a ship, it's very, very likely going to be someone in your band, right? Or in your cast. Like you work with them every day. It doesn't pay to like, even if like you've been in love with some shoppy or I don't know, some third officer, whoever, third officer might have their own cabin, but like somebody else on board, right? Like that, someone else in a different band or even if it's been the whole contract and you're dying for this and you finally get it, like still like be kind and respectful. There's still room for that, and where you live and you work in the same space. Yeah, I mean, I think if you work on ships for long enough, you end up running into people that are not as kind and thoughtful. And this is not just like with having partners or folks in there to do mischievous things, but like, you know, shower time, you know, or like leaving the cabin messy, or like your shoes everywhere stinky and smelling up the cabin. Like there's just lots of ways to be like a really bad roommate. And I think just having the self-awareness to not only, you know, not only be aware of that, but like to ask, you know, your roommate, like, hey, you know, is everything cool here? You know, or like, not even because they're giving you like the cold shoulder, but just like, is there anything that I can do that's better? Like, you know, that would make living together better, you know? And if both people are being communicative that way and being respectful of each other, then I think you'll have a really wonderful cabin situation. I loved a lot of the roommates that I had on board. I had a great time sharing a cabin. I didn't mind that I was in the top bunk. Like it was fun for me. But I think I was lucky enough to have folks that really cared about my relationship with them, that cared about our relationship, and cared about having our cabin be a place that was very like a place of respect, a place that was like that was nice to exist and live.
Yeah, and in this story, it's a week-long cruise, both times. Girl, you are on board for months at a time in a cast, or you are on board for months at a time in your band. You need to be respectful and kind. So, I mean, not much to add to what Sam said.
But going on it again and expecting different results, isn't that Einstein's definition
that's kind of your fault.
Insanity? Or
Right.
Yeah, stupidity, insanity, something. Don't do the same
not
thing
an
again.
Aft-Hole.
Yeah,
not an Aft-Hole.
Not an Aft-Hole. It's just like maybe that's not your best friend anymore. Find a new best friend. Jeez. Okay. All right. Next one. Am I the Aft-Hole for abandoning my parents at an island in the Caribbean so I could get back to our cruise in time? Okay. I graduated from high school back in December, so young kid. As a gift, my parents got me a cruise. Okay. And one of the ports, they would not head back to the ship when I said it was time to go. They were busy shopping and bargaining with the locals. I finally said that I was heading back to the ship. My mom waved me off. They missed the departure by a lot, like 45 minutes. They got a hold of me through WhatsApp. They wanted to know why I didn't get the boat, to wait for them, ask the boat to do that. I wanted to scream that they were not going to inconvenience 3,998 people because 2 could not understand what a schedule was. They ended up having to fly to the next port from there, and it was expensive. They are pissed at me for leaving them behind. I don't know what to do. They literally told me that they knew what they were doing. This one seems pretty clear-cut. You are not the Aft-Hole. Your parents are co-Aft-Holes. And honestly, good for you for going back and making the ship on time. Like, you know, your parents are supposed to be the ones, they've lived on the planet a lot longer than you. You would think that they would have, like, the collective, like, wherewithal and wisdom and also, like, respect of everybody, as this person is implying, to make it back on time. I mean, we all make these mistakes, but this kid was warning them, like it seems like very literally saying we're gonna miss the ship, and they didn't care, and then they missed the ship, and they're all messed up about it. So at least for the parents,
as a guest, you can fly to the next port and get back on. Let it be known, if you do this and you are working on board in 2026, you are fired. So do not do this. Do not miss the boat. And onboard for crew is earlier than guests, so do not make the mistake of arriving late. They will leave you. They do not wait. And
they do not care. Someone on board might care, but captain does not care, and they are leaving. Yeah, no, it's true, and I mean, I think probably both Jess and I can think of many stories where we were running to make the ship, running to make back on board time, and if I had to give some advice to folks who are working on ships now, it's like, don't cut it that close. Why? It's not worth it. Just like come back a little bit sooner so you're not sweating and panting and risking losing your job, because like ultimately that is what you're doing. And I think if someone had kind of like sat me down and, you know, cuffed me in the back of the head and been like, what are you doing? Do you like this job? I would have been like, yeah, of course I like this job. And then be like, well, then why are you risking it by like spending another half an hour out in port? Like, get back to the ship and be a responsible employee and human.
I learned very quickly what a tender port was the very first one.
Uh-huh.
How those worked. And I did play a set in my swimsuit underneath like the suit, but you know, you just you learn quickly and don't do that. Don't be in your swimsuit underneath your suit. Double suit duty. Tender ports.
Yeah.
They don't
tender ports. They'll get you. Yeah, but tender port or no tender, just like set a different timeline for yourself and just say like, I'm gonna be back on board earlier. And friends, don't let friends. I mean, again, apparently parents don't care and will fully ignore their wise and much more responsible child's advice. But yeah, like get your friends as much as you can to come with you so that they don't miss the ship either, although we are our own people and everybody should in theory be responsible for themselves.
Yeah, I bet that kid was an adult when he was 12 or they were 12.
I like the kid. The kid knows what's up. Yeah,
we should hire him.
Yeah. If you're listening to this and you're the one who posted it, kid, and you play the trombone, come find us.
You never know.
Yeah, or if you play flamenco music.
Flamenco! Only flamenco.
Only flamenco. No other local styles.
Yeah.
Okay, great. You want to do one more, Jess, and then we'll call it?
Yeah, let's do one more.
Okay.
Am I the Aft-Hole for pulling my daughter out of dance until she gets her grades up? My daughter has been obsessed with ballet since she was young. We originally put her in ballet when she was 6 and found out she had dyslexia. We were hoping ballet would bring her some confidence, and it definitely did. She is now 14 and takes ballet quite seriously. She has been auditioning for summer programs recently and performing in the Nutcracker for the holiday season. However, in the midst of this, her grades have slipped. She's currently failing 2 of her classes and has C's and D's in the rest of them. We decided to pull her out of dance until she gets her grades up. At first, my wife was on the same page, but my daughter has been begging to go back to ballet, saying that we're ruining her future because she does not get into a... I'm so sorry. Because if... I'm going to start this.
We put this tongue twister in there specifically for you.
I'm going to start that paragraph over. Yeah. Alex, cut it. At first. Who edits these?
We have to pay them more.
At first, my wife was on the same page as me, but my daughter has been begging to go back to ballet, saying that we're ruining her future because if she does not get into a summer intensive, she's never going to be able to dance professionally. I don't see professional dance as a viable career option. However, my wife is now starting to take our daughter's side, saying that our daughter has a higher chance of dancing professionally than getting an academic job. My daughter hates school, and she has said she does not want to go to college, but wants to dance professionally. I really feel she should go to a college, and she needs to improve her grades to have a shot. Am I the Aft-Hole? Oh, I got nervous at the end of that.
Am I the Aft-Hole?
Aft-Hole.
Yeah. I think you are. I think you're the jerk here. Yeah. I mean,
you have
look,
good intentions, but not the big picture.
Yeah. Being a parent's hard. I say this with zero experience, but I've heard. And so, to judge a parent based on their decisions is always a slippery slope and a tricky tightrope to walk. But this is somebody who loves dancing. And whether or not they end up choosing it as a career, whether or not they're good enough to be ballerina or a hip-hop dancer or a jazz contemporary, whatever, like, this is something that means a lot to this kid growing up. And like, when we really care about something, especially if it's in the arts, like promote it and push it and say sure, like cutting that off so that someone does better. Like, there could be some real reasons why they're not doing well at school that have nothing to do with, the amount of effort they're putting in or the amount of effort they're putting into dancing, like they could be that they're not they're not connected that way. There's not that necessarily that that correlation that doesn't necessarily mean that that's the reason why, because she's spending too much time dancing, or or it being some sort of like penalty, or it just, I think it is a really kind of misguided interpretation of what's happening here, to say like, I'm going to cut off something that you love because because you're not doing well in school.
Yeah.
I have my rant ready for school and for education, for mainstream education.
Yeah. Yeah, as well, she has dyslexia. And not to say that you can't be successful in an academic career with dyslexia, but if you have passion elsewhere, I think there's also lack of information for a lot of people who are not familiar with the arts. Clearly, he does not know all of the opportunities that would exist for a dancer, specifically a ballet dancer. That is quite niche, but there's opportunity out there. You can work on a cruise ship and save up all your money and then invest and do something else later in life, or keep doing that. And there's so much opportunity within the arts that we all should talk about more, so that parents who are not in the arts whatsoever but have a talented kid have those resources to know that it is a viable career option. And I feel for the daughter. I think I was very lucky to have parents that were supportive. Actually needed some convincing. So I get it. They needed a little convincing. Yeah. Sorry, Glenda and Don, for listening to this, but they did. And
look, sometimes parents need convincing, but like, I think what's important is if they listen to you. If the convincing does work, because we all could use some convincing.
Another adult. But sometimes adults listen to adults. They don't listen to kids. So kids, if you need to convince your parents, get a trusted adult.
Pay your uncle.
Pay your uncle.
Yeah.
Have them. I'm not your crazy uncle, because he probably won't do much.
Yeah, he'll just take the money and run to the casino or something.
You'll never see him again.
Racetrack.
So,
Yeah. He wasn't even your uncle to begin with. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But I mean, I maybe in a different podcast I'll talk about how much I despise mainstream, especially higher level mainstream education when it comes to the arts, and how I think that there should be just way more alternative paths for artists. And it's not today, but this gal loves to dance, and let her keep dancing. Don't take that away from her. I
think, again, last point, just, he has the best intentions. You can have your best intentions and still be an Aft-Hole. I'm so sorry, but... Yeah. So, fine.
Yeah. So, hopefully, we have some new Aft-Holes defined, and also some relevance to the cruise industry in which we work. So, thanks for tackling those with me, Jess. And
sure.
Yeah, super fun chatting today. We have our resolutions set. We have some real relevant stories, and some folks who might otherwise be considered Aft-Holes saved. Others who have cemented their reputation, at least
I'm so sorry about
among
that.
A few people here. Yeah.
Yeah, share your resolutions with us. What resolutions you got in 2026? Any related to the cruise ship industry, or your arts, or your performance, or if you're going to be working on your male presenting tenor vocals range and learning how to be a ventriloquist. And also
or your flamenco. Or flamenco.
Specifically flamenco.
Only flamenco.
That's only flamenco.
Yeah. Our next episode will be sponsored by flamenco. I think this one was too. Yeah.
Sure. We have sponsors.
Yeah. But yes,
and if you don't know if you're the Aft-Hole, let us know too.
Yeah.
And if you want to sponsor us, also let us know.
Send us your resolutions, send us your stories. We'd love to talk about them in a future episode and discuss them in real time. So thanks to everybody who's tuning in for this episode. We really appreciate it, and we'll hopefully see you again soon.
Yep. Thanks, everyone. Bye for now.
Bye.